favorite comedy film ever.
Ever?
Ever. I grew up on Monty Python. This is how me and my dad bonded when I was little.
Well, that's a good thing that Ian picked it because he didn't like
I
it.
think I only didn't like it because I was an edgy teenager, or I just think it's shit. But I wanted to rewatch it because it's been almost a decade.
Is this the next hour and a half?
Yeah, this is the entire movie.
The whole movie's actually just credits.
Large moose on the left-hand side of the screen.
Holy SpongeBob seizure.
This was before the Porygon incident.
93 squared 80.
Yeah, Glungland.
England.
It's like
Or 6 England.
it's like Giznep, owner of Marvel.
Disney font does not do the word Disney any favors.
No, it doesn't.
He looks like the Burger King guy.
Are you suggesting coconuts migrate? Not at all.
It's like us having a conversation. 2 years ago, on my dad's birthday, I got him a Funko Pop of King Arthur from Monty Python. I have never seen him so happy. He was like, I'm putting this on my desk at work. And I was like, aw, Dad, you finally love me.
No, son, don't take it that far.
Yeah.
Bring out your dead.
What a relevant time for this one.
Ah, the Empire is approaching.
Oh, it's the Black Knight scene!
The political commentary in this movie is fantastic so far.
It's like King Richard's Fair.
Join me in my court at Camelot.
Why are you shouting?
He's the king. If you're not the loudest person, you're not the best.
That's true. That is a fact in real life. Holy overswing. Really televising those moves. Oh my god, here it comes.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what?
No, it isn't! Me, with my full unbridled confidence.
Full unbridled confidence, Ian. You are the Black Knight.
My arm is fine! I don't believe they actually filmed a Scientology meeting for this.
What the?
Why does he talk like a South Park character?
He looks like a playing card.
He is.
The quest for the Holy Grail.
Well, time to end the movie.
Why don't we do that in, like, real life? Like,
What do
I know
you
they
mean?
used to, but why don't people right now go look for the Fountain of Youth and the Holy Grail and shit?
Because
There's nowhere else to look.
we've checked everywhere, dog. What is unexplored besides, like, Antarctica?
But maybe it's in Antarctica.
It wasn't, though.
Maybe it's in the ocean.
What are you doing in England? Mind your own business.
That's what the French and English War really was.
I know. What are you doing here? Fuck you.
Oh, shut up. That's what.
Niggits.
What did you just say?
Niggits.
I believe that's racist.
It is.
Jesus Christ!
No wonder why the French lost so quick in World War II.
This was their tactic.
I have a plan, sir.
Ah, cut the commercial.
Pretty much.
Who would have known that the Trojan horse wouldn't work a second time? Is there a post-credit scene?
No, God.
Setting up the cinematic universe?
Setting up the King Arthur cinematic universe.
That's what they tried to do.
Alright, let's play budget and box office.
I don't know. 500,000.
Okay.
And let's just say 5 million.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, I don't know how much success this movie had in theaters. I think it's more of a cult classic.
I
more
bet
than
it's super
anything.
cheap to make, though.
But, like, it was like maybe $1 million at most. I'm gonna say like 800,000.
Okay.
For budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
And box
And
office.
I can't see more than like 7 or 8, honestly.
Okay.
Alright.
He's a little bit more than me.
Ian, you aimed too high on both accounts. Jake, you were too high on budget, but dead on with box office.
What was it?
400,000 budget, 5 million box office. That is money. That is profit.
Damn, baby.
We are but 80 young blondes and brunettes, all between 16 and 19 and a half.
Most of that age group is not legal.
After you have spanked her, you may deal with her as you like, and then spank me. And spank me? And me? And me? Yes, yes, you must give us all a good spanking.
I'd be throwing that shield right down if I believed in the cross. Like,
Well,
nah.
you'd have to wait at least 2 years for some of them.
I can tackle this lot single-handed.
Yes, let me tackle the
I could tackle them all.
Yes, let us tackle him.
He's still holding the shield in front of his crotch.
Is that literally the devil?
No.
It's a Viking?
No,
Is it Batman?
they're the knights who say neat.
Oh, I was just gonna keep rapid-firing pop culture people with horns. It reminds me of Pink Floyd's The Wall, but way less serious.
Imagine trying to recommend that movie and having to deal with the movie copyright and then also the music copyright.
No. It's a good message.
Yep.
Is he making any ground?
No. He's not getting closer.
Is it the same shot of him
Yes,
just
that's-
very, very far?
Yeah,
it
you see?
is.
You can literally see him getting closer every time.
He's so clever.
I love the guy just, hey! This is one of the better scenes.
I love the instant touched by a sword death. This is just a really, really comedic take on the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, before the Red Wedding was written.
Oh, what sad times are these when passing ruffians can say "ni" at will to old ladies.
Wow, is that some juicy subtext?
I arrange, design, and sell shrubberies.
Holy quality.
Yeah.
He's not even blowing anything up, he's just doing stuff.
Dude, if I had the power to just throw fire, I would do this.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me... Tim?
Greetings, Tim the...
I like the way he says it.
He said it that way because he forgot his line. He was supposed to say something really long, but it just blanked.
I like how that fire was on a wire and you could see it.
Honestly, some of the appeal of this movie is how cheap it is.
To the north there lies a cave. The cave of Caer Banog, wherein...
And you not forget that line. My name is Tim.
Bring up the holy hand grenade.
You know, there's the Holy Bible, the Holy Ghost, the Holy fucking grenade.
So this follows continuity with the Scorpion King when they invented gunpowder?
Yeah, exactly.
The same period in time?
Yep. And actually, if you look in the background, you can see Matthias making his way to the Scottish Kingdom in Scorpion King 4.
Which Matthias?
Yes.
Armaments, Chapter 2. Oh, Lord!
That's what. How big's chapter 1?
You know,
What's up?
something tells me this didn't actually happen.
What the fuck are
What
you
you're
talking
telling me the
about?
legend of King Arthur probably isn't real? The most historically accurate version, you know.
I think the documentary on King Arthur was more like the Charlie Hunnam movie.
with
The Charlie Hunnam movie's actually just a
what,
documentary.
you've never been to the Castle Anthrax?
They better Scooby-Doo door this shit.
When suddenly, the animator suffered a fatal heart attack. The cartoon peril was no more. The quest for the Holy Grail could continue.
That's fantastic.
That is my favorite joke in the movie.
Our quest is at an end.
The castle quality, it lowers here.
Stand by for attack!
This is basically the portal scene in Endgame, right?
Yeah, it's better though.
100%.
Obviously. So out of 10, guys.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
What else is gonna happen? They got arrested.
The rule on Devious Choice is that you pick it, you kill last. But I kind of want to break that because I want to know immediately what Ian thinks. If
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's alright. That's really it. Some of it's pretty funny. Some of it goes on a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the jokes go on for longer than they're welcome. And that's a style of comedy, and I fully respect that, but sometimes I don't like that.
Yeah, if I could
And-
just jump in and kind of add to that, I completely agree. I think there are some standout funny moments.
Yeah, when Lancelot goes to the castle and starts killing everybody.
Yeah,
That is the funniest scene in
it's
the movie.
fun shock humor.
Because that's
yeah.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it works
And then
on
he
that
goes,
level.
oh, well, I thought your child was a woman.
I think the movie thought that all of its jokes were winners. And for me, comedy is subjective. There's no right or wrong.
Oh,
but
100%.
for me, I think 5, maybe 6 jokes are really, really funny. And
Yeah, some of them are stand out.
I don't
some
know.
Of them...
And maybe it's because I've seen a couple clips online
Yeah.
and thought they were funny at the time. But like, I don't know. I can't really judge it as a movie though, because it's really not like a
it seems
story.
more like a collection, but the
Yeah.
collection does string together.
It's like when we
so-
were talking about Twins when we reviewed that. Like, yeah, it's a comedy, but there's a story here. There's characters we like. There's a through line we
Yeah.
can talk about.
Yeah.
This is mostly
Here's
just
the-
like a very loose framework.
If I can
for
jump
scenes.
in,
by all means.
as someone who's watched a lot of Monty Python, this is their style of comedy. There is no through narrative. It's a lot of avant-garde stuff.
Yep.
You know, that's really why they're remembered as like this groundbreaking comedy troupe, because they never really had a purpose with what they were doing. They were just, let's make this one thing funny. Granted, it didn't always work. I know there are plenty of skits in Flying Circus that I'm like, that's not that funny. But that's always been the Python style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is they do have this wild, wacky, avant-garde, no, it doesn't make sense, no, we're not going to explain it, sort of.
Yep.
There are some good things. I actually do think there are good things, but mostly it's a very whelming movie. just in general to me personally.
I understand. I think
Yeah.
part of that is probably just personally. I think the movie is very overhyped. As much as I love it, this is my favorite comedy movie of all time. That's just the natural fact of anything. Is if it gets overhyped, it can never meet the expectations.
Well, on top of that, you
are
grew up
put
with
on
it, right, Mud?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, so that's like
So
a part of the
I'll
show.
admit that also played a factor in it. This was, me and my dad bonded over watching Monty Python. That's really how me and my dad bonded when I was a kid. Was we watched all the same comedy. We watched Monty Python. We watched Whose Line. We watched Seinfeld.
Whose Line's fucking great.
Whose Line's fucking
Out
hilarious.
of all three of those things he said, I like one of them.
I love Whose Line. Slaps.
Seinfeld's great.
Seinfeld's great.
Didn't think it was funny. I
Seinfeld's
watched
good.
a pretty decent amount. Just didn't like the comedy style.
Regardless, I do think that this, along with a lot of other products, have fallen to the detriment of the internet, just hyping it up to be the second coming of Christ.
Yeah.
I think out of 10, I'd probably... Oh, man, I'm kind of conflicted on it. Someone else want to go first and out of 10? I don't know why I brought it up.
I'm not going to go first out of 10. I'm going to go last out of 10.
Okay.
But I did give my opinion first.
Being the biggest fan here,
I don't
go
want to
first.
fire in, because I think you guys know what I'm going to say.
It's your favorite comedy. Why wouldn't it be a 10?
It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This movie's fucking hilarious. I laugh at it every time, even though I know all the jokes and can recite half the scenes from memory.
That's true. When I edit this, when you guys listen to this when it airs, you're not going to hear many laughs
You're
at all.
not going to hear
A lot of
anything
it's
from
going
me.
to be the post.
Because half of it is just
Commentary.
me laughing.
I'm going to cut out all the times that Mud laughed, which is a lot of the movie.
I laughed at every scene.
Yeah.
Every scene has something in it that makes me laugh.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
For me, I'd probably lean between 4 and 5. I think I have a lot of respect for it and what it did, especially for like how influential it was. And I do think a lot of the jokes are really strong. But overall, as a movie, I don't know. Like I kept waiting until like either the next scene or just the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
the end kind of just happened.
It wasn't like a terrible movie, but like I don't know, it didn't hit me super big like the other movies we've watched have.
See, it's funny because I think the end is one of the funniest parts. How it just they get arrested, movie ends, there isn't even fucking credits.
And like stopping the movie, like turn that shit off. That's actually kind of charming and funny.
Or it's the old man from scene 24.
Yeah.
Things like that aren't bad if they're written properly. And I think this was a goofy enough movie where I was like, oh, that fits.
Yeah.
That being said, when they were talking about, oh, this scene, BBB, I was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm gonna say it out loud because Mud would have criticized me.
No, I would have let you
about
say it.
And then criticize me immediately after.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
how dare you speak?
How dare you speak? How dare you not like a thing that's objectively bad?
I know. How dare I not like Green Lantern?
But when it comes to meta, most of the meta in this movie actually did work because it's just goofy. This movie is straight up goofy. If I have to give it an out of 10, which we do because that's how the show works, maybe a 5 or a 6. I'm in between. It's okay. It's a very whelming movie. I wouldn't give it a negative because I do think there are more good things than bad things.
This movie it means so much to me, and I like some of the subtler things, like the through jokes. Like at the very beginning of the movie, the French
birds,
birds, King Arthur's trouble with distinguishing 3 from 5, and even this is something I really only noticed this time watching it, even though I've seen this movie like 10 times. At the very beginning of the movie, they come across the Frenchmen, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for the Holy Grail." Frenchmen go, "We have one," even though they're joking. And then later on in the movie, when they discover the castle Og in the writings, I forget what his name is, Badir? Sorry.
Yeah.
He says, "I think that's a French castle."
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, the
was
castle is the French castle. Yeah. So
my dad loves this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Like him and my sister both enjoy Monty Python.
Allie's smart, so of course she does.
And I didn't really care. I was like,
honestly, Ian, I'm okay with it because I remember the conversation we had where you told me you don't like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I was like, oh, how could you say
dagger
such a thing?
or an
it
arrow.
was a knife to the heart.
An arrow with a message on it.
Message for you, sir.
I'm not like, it's fucking bad because it's stupid. I'm like, I just didn't like it because
yeah, no,
probably X, Y, and Z.
Ian, honestly, I'm glad that you can pick a movie that you yourself admitted that at the time you didn't like and research it, or rather revisit it and see if right now it holds up or if you change your opinion.
Yeah, or you can be like me when we watch The Outsiders and double down and be like, no, this still sucks.
So, with all that out of the way,
what's your shitty movie?
What are you going to pick next?
Shitty. Randomly, I was on YouTube a couple weeks ago, and I just decided to look up this movie. I wanted to watch the trailer specifically. So I typed the name of the movie into the search bar, and the whole movie popped up on YouTube.
Okay.
It was uploaded. So I watched it, and I was like, wow, this movie's still really good. It's one of my favorite movies from the year it came out, which was 2016. Okay. So I downloaded it, And now I got it on an MP4 drive, and I'm going to subject you guys to it because I know you haven't watched it. We will be watching Kubo and the Two Strings.
Nice, okay.
That was on YouTube?
It had been on YouTube for 3 years.
What's the quality?
1080.
Get the fuck out.
No joke, dude.
That's amazing.
I know.
All right. Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.